President Trump wants to change the rules, nuke the filibuster to end the government shutdown. Why that plan is not likely to fly. Plus, a federal judge signals she'll step in to keep SNAP benefits flowing for 40 million Americans. And another museum heist, this time in California. And even though the FBI is on the case, it's not a Louvre copycat. The stories that matter, clear and credible, from across the country to around the world. These are your unbiased updates from Straight Arrow News. Good morning, I'm Craig DeGrelli. Day 31 of the government shutdown, and America is still stuck. Paychecks are stopping, pressure is building, and now President Trump wants to change the rules to end it. On Truth Social, the president urged the Republican-led Senate to initiate the nuclear option, abolishing the filibuster, so the Senate can pass a bill to reopen the government without Democratic support, though 2 Democrats and 1 independent have been regularly voting with the GOP. Under current rules, it takes 60 votes to move any legislation forward. But the Senate went home yesterday without taking up a new measure, meaning no action until at least Monday, day 34 of the longest shutdown in U.S. history. Democrats are digging in, demanding talks on extending federal tax credits for health care coverage before any deal. But the Trump administration is refusing to negotiate until the government is back open.
We are happy to talk about any policy issue. We're happy to talk about health care policy. We're happy to talk about tax policy. We're happy to talk about regulatory policy, but not at the point of a gun. You do not get to take the American people's government hostage and then demand that we give you everything you want.
Meanwhile, the impact is growing. Airports across the country are short on air traffic controllers, many working without pay, some taking second jobs just to feed their families. One group that will get paid, the military. The White House says it's using a mix of defense and emergency funds to cover wages for troops. For now, a move that avoids missing a second straight pay period. A federal judge in Boston is signaling she will step in to keep food aid flowing for millions of Americans caught in the government shutdown. Nearly 42 million Americans rely on the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, previously known as food stamps. Funding is set to run out as early as tomorrow, but Judge Indira Talwani said the Trump administration cannot simply turn off benefits, ordering the Agriculture Department to tap in to a $5.5 billion emergency fund Congress set aside for crises like this. She told government lawyers, quote, "Congress has put money in an emergency fund, and it is hard for me to understand how this is not an emergency." The fund won't cover a full month. SNAP costs about $9 billion, but it would allow partial payments while the shutdown drags on. The USDA argues that money was meant for natural disasters, not political stalemates. But 23 states and 3 governors sued, saying families should not be left without groceries because Washington can't agree on a budget. Talwani is expected to issue her ruling as early as today, which could mean benefits might start going out again, though likely delayed as states rush to reload EBT cards. The family of Jeffrey Epstein survivor Virginia Giuffre says she, quote, brought down a prince. King Charles made it official Thursday. His brother, Prince Andrew, is losing his royal titles and his home. Buckingham Palace called the move necessary censures as Andrew is now evicted from the Royal Lodge on the Windsor estate. The decision follows a wave of new attention on Andrew, sparked by Virginia Giuffre's posthumous memoir, which revisits her claim that the Duke of York sexually assaulted her as a teenager.
He's just Andrew. He's no longer a prince. And she is celebrating from the heavens right now, saying, I did it. This normal girl from a normal family has taken down a prince. We are so proud of her. Her survivors are proud of her. Her sisters. This is a moment that is unprecedented in history.
Andrew continues to deny ever meeting Giuffre and has repeatedly denied all allegations. But her family says accountability should not end with titles and property. Her brother telling BBC Newsnight he needs to be behind bars. Some important medical news this morning. The FDA is recalling a popular blood pressure drug after tests found a potential cancer-causing chemical. Teva Pharmaceuticals is pulling more than 500,000 bottles of prazosin hydrochloride off pharmacy shelves. The Medication is commonly used to treat high blood pressure and also prescribed to help veterans and PTSD patients with nightmares and anxiety. The FDA says tests found carcinogenic impurities in some lots of the drug, a substance that could increase the risk of cancer with long-term exposure. The recall applies to multiple batches distributed nationwide between April and September. Patients are urged not to stop taking the drug on their own. Instead, contact their doctor or pharmacist for replacements or alternatives. The FDA says there have been no reported injuries or illnesses so far, but they're continuing to investigate. Well, this sounds familiar. Another museum heist, this time in Northern California. More than 1,000 artifacts stolen from a storage facility, belonging to the Oakland Museum of California. The haul included Native American baskets, engraved tusks, metalwork, even old sports trophies. Police say the break-in happened October 15th, but it took weeks to realize how much was gone. The museum director says this was not some Hollywood high-tech job like the Louvre heist earlier this month, more likely a crime of opportunity. Thieves broke in and grabbed what they could. The FBI is now involved, and investigators are scouring eBay and Craigslist for clues in case the thieves are trying to cash in quickly on some of the items. It's worth noting, and this is important, this theft happened days before that brazen robbery in Paris. Finally this morning, the penny's gone and America's coming up short. Since President Trump scrapped production earlier this year, retailers and banks are scrambling for loose change, literally. Giant Eagle grocery stores in Pennsylvania are offering double value gift cards for pennies this weekend. And at Sheetz, 100 pennies gets you a free pop. Banks say they're rationing what's left. Some stores are rounding down to the nearest nickel just to stay legal. Quick Trip says that move alone could cost them $3 million this year. Now, the irony is this. Businesses have wanted the penny gone for decades. It costs nearly 4 cents to make just one. But this abrupt goodbye, with no real plan for a phase-out, has left cash drawers and customers clinking for spare change, if you will. That reminds me of something that happened to me at a fast food restaurant not too long ago. I went up to the register, I had gotten my meal, it cost $7.29. So I reached in my pocket, pulled out $7, then a quarter. So now I'm at $7.25, right? I reached in my pocket again, 3 pennies, $7.28. I looked up at the cashier, remember it cost $7.29, and she said to me, "Don't you hate when that happens?" I had to go back in my wallet, get a $10 bill out. The bottom line is, if you're going to pay with cash, always have a plethora of pennies in your pocket. All right, before we head out, here's what we're tracking today. A somber scene in Rio at noon. Human rights groups are asking people to wear white, a call for peace after the deadliest police raid in the city's history. Then, shifting to lighter spirits in Germany, hundreds hit the streets of Cologne for a spooky 10K, running in costumes that range from frightening to funny. And tonight in New York, the Greenwich Village Halloween Parade takes over Manhattan. Expect masks, music, and mayhem. Then at 11, the celebs come out to play. All eyes on Heidi Klum's Halloween Bash and what wild costume she unveils this year. Less ranting, more reading. Get smarter faster with our Unbiased Updates newsletter. Sign up at san.com/newsletters. Thanks for watching. We're the fastest, fairest 8 minutes in news. You can watch anytime on our app or at san.com/unbiased updates or listen to us on Spotify. Those are your Unbiased Updates for this Friday. We'll see you back here on Monday. By the way, don't forget to turn your clocks back 1 hour Saturday night into Sunday. An extra hour of sleep, but darker earlier. All right, for all of us here at Straight Arrow News, I'm Craig DeGrelli. Have a fantastic weekend.